Muslim groups are teaming up now to have a bigger impact on American politics and, they say, to better protect their civil rights. But the makeup of some of these groups is already causing some to question the organization. Mark Thiessen is a former presidential speechwriter and an American Enterprise Institute fellow. Mark, good to see you. And so this group, it's going to be called the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations. And one of the names that jumped out at me of these groups is CARE. So one of the 10 is CARE. There are some other groups in these 10. Why do people need to be paying attention to this?
Well, these groups are rebranding themselves because many of them have ties to terror. I mean, CARE, which you know well with your talk about this film that they're trying to get people not to watch. CARE is a group. That's right. CARE is a group that the FBI has said is a front group for Hamas that conspired with the Muslim Brotherhood to support terrorists and conceal that support from the American people. Another one of these groups is the Muslim American Society, which the U.S. government says is the overt arm of the Muslim Brotherhood in the United States. So you have organizations that have ties to terrorist groups that support radical Islam and that are trying to rebrand themselves through this new organization.
Now, they've come out and said basically what they're trying to do is promote Muslim civil rights, that it's about giving Muslims a greater voice in the upcoming elections and making them a more persuasive and meaningful voting bloc. They say one of the things that they want to do is look at Muslim complacency in the face of mounting social problems, and they want to counter the falsifiers who are seeking to mislead. I mean, with CARE at the helm, what does that tell you?
Well, you know, the funny thing is that CARE is completely out of step with the Muslim American community. I mean, for example, CARE is a front group for Hamas. Hamas supports the destruction of Israel. A Gallup poll found that 81% of Muslim Americans support a two-state solution that would involve the recognition of Israel. In fact, Muslim Americans support a two-state solution at greater numbers than Jewish Americans do. Muslim Americans are the least likely religious group in the country to support military attacks on civilians. 89% say they're never justified compared to 71% of Catholics and Protestants. But what they're doing here, which is interesting, is while Muslim Americans are against terrorism, they lean left politically. And so these groups have figured out that their path to legitimacy is to tap into that. 80% of Muslim Americans support Barack Obama. That's like double the percentage of the rest of the Americans of the country. But they have one of the lowest voter participation rates in the United States. So these groups have figured out that their path to legitimacy is to boost turnout for the Democratic Party by bringing Muslim Americans who support Barack Obama in high numbers out to the 2016 elections. And then if they bring out that support, these politicians will be less likely to criticize them publicly.
And that's very interesting because, you know, CARE would have you believe that, you know, it's basically the ACLU of the Muslim world, and yet they view certain issues very, very differently than, you know, a lot of Muslim Americans. Mark, good to see you.
Thanks, Megan.